Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, and in today's video let's take a look at a flight recorder, also known as the black box. So let's get started. There have been many accidents in the history of aviation. Now after a crash, how does the investigation team figure out what happened? This puzzled people for many years. 37 years. Then, Francois Husnot and Paul Bazone in 1939 attempted to fix this issue. They created a primitive photographing device that took many pictures and sequenced them into a video. A mirror was also positioned on the needles of the instrument that had to be recorded. So, it would reflect light at different angles onto the photographing film, thus keeping track of the status of each instrument. Let's fast forward to today, and these are what black boxes look like. But why is it a bright orange while the name implies that it has to be black in color? Well, during the World War II, it was black in color. But since black was such a dull color, it reduced the visibility and the chances of finding the box in a wreckage. So they were painted a bright orange color to ensure high visibility and to make sure that it did not hide from the investigation team on ground. Now that we saw a black box, why were there two boxes in the picture? That's because the term black box collectively refers to two boxes: the cockpit data recorder and the cockpit voice recorder, also known as the DR and the CVR. These boxes are made up of almost indestructible steel, almost 5 inches thick, more in some cases. Such thick steel is extremely hard to get across to. These boxes are fire resistant, water resistant. Now, since these recorders can easily be found on the ground, what about if they fall into water? The engineers took care of that. They positioned a beacon, which is nothing but a device that emits radio waves, in our case, to receivers or to handheld receivers on the investigation team on ground. This ensures that the team exactly knows where the black box is. Now you might be thinking to yourself, what's the fuss with all these black boxes? The plane has crashed, yeah, but then why are you finding the black box? Well, that's because the black box provides very important information that helps the investigation team figure out why the plane crashed. It can keep track of your speed, your altitude, your position, your direction, your orientation. Wait, direction and orientation means the same thing, right? So, once the black box has been recovered, and by black box I mean the two boxes have been recovered, it can be popped into a computer with the use of some special top secret adapters, which displays the information recorded by these recorders onto the computer screen. The recording of a black box looks like this.
Eighty knots. Continue. V1, rotate. Positive climb. Gear up. Okay. Reducing right engine. You have control, You keep control. Shutting down right engine. confirm identity. Down. Put your piece down, okay?
Now these recorders are placed on the tail of a plane as it is structurally the strongest with the combined strength of 3 wings. That's the vertical stabilizer along with the horizontal stabilizers. Now try this experiment at home. Just take a glass bottle and just drop it. Chances are that the neck of the bottle will stay intact because that's structurally the strongest portion of the plane. This includes more chances of survival for the black box. Now a CVR and an FDR cannot keep infinitely recording, right? So in some planes there's this tiny red little button on the overhead panel which need to be pushed in order to clear the contents of the black box. It's a little bit surprising how that tiny red button can erase the content of the entire box. Now these boxes record mechanically, which means they're having a technology that's similar to computer hard drives. Now they are also transitioning to SSDs, that's solid state drive. That means it will record everything electrically. The cockpit voice recorder records via 7 mics. You heard it right, 7 placed in the cockpit. While the flight data recorder records the status of every single important necessary instrument. This was a pretty brief introduction to the science behind the black box. They are extremely mysterious. I suggest checking out the webpage linked in the description. I hope you all enjoyed today. If you learned something new, consider pushing the tiny red box beneath the video. That's free and it helps me, and it also helps you to know that every time I release a video, you are gonna get a first class notification on your device. No doubts. That's it for this time, guys. Thank you for watching and I will see you next time.